good when he bought him, right? When he took over, they had a good coach and a good quarterback in Ron Rivera and Cam Newton. He said, yeah, we're good. I want to be great. I want to see if we can't do better. And he sees Deshaun Watson. He's like, I don't care. We need to do everything we can to get Deshaun. My hat's off to him. It's the right idea. But I don't think the deal is going to be the best deal they're offered, Stephen A. 3 firsts and Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey is an amazing player. And he's more than just a running back, but that is the position he plays. And you have to be careful when you overpay for running backs, both in terms of draft capital and contracts you give him. He's coming off a big injury, and he has a big contract. So that's one of the things you're getting back. And then you're getting 3 firsts. Well, is that the best offer they're going to get? Stephen A., you know what Miami can offer them? Miami's picking 3rd and 18th in the first round this year. And they have Tua Tagovailoa, who, were he coming out of the draft this year, would probably be the second quarterback taken. I think, and then they have a draft, first rounder next year. The Jets, Stephen A., have 2 firsts this year and 2 firsts next year and 2/3 this year. The Jets and the Dolphins are going to be in a position to offer the Texans a better deal than the one currently on the table, apparently, from the Panthers. So I don't think the Texans should take this one.
I'm not going to say no definitively. I get where you're coming from, and for the most part, I agree with you if that were the case. But we don't know what the Jets are willing to offer, what the Miami Dolphins are willing to offer. We hear a lot of noise, but we don't know. And if I'm the Houston Texans, I have to listen. And here's why I have to listen, Max. Because not only does those 3 first-round picks includes the number 8 overall pick coming up in this draft, but it also includes Christian McCaffrey. And we have to remember what a stud this brother is. He is something special. Make no mistake about it. And when you have a guy like him that's an all-world back, he's not a one-dimensional player. He can run. He can catch passes out of the backfield. You know what I'm saying? You could put him in a slot. He could make things happen. This brother is that gifted. Christian McCaffrey is an NFL star. Let's not forget that. And when I look at it from that perspective, and I'm talking about getting 3 picks along with him, certainly, if you're the New York Jets and you offer something when you've got the number 2 overall pick, that changes things. Certainly, if you're the Miami Dolphins, all right, with the year that they've had, they're on a come up. You've got high picks to offer as well. Not to mention Tua Tagovailoa, if you wanted to throw him in there, yeah, I got to think about that, and that's probably better. But barring that, I don't know if I can get much better than what the Carolina Panthers may be in a position to offer me. I think the hiccup is that, remember, Deshaun Watson's got a no-trade clause,
strained,
and he has to sign off on these things, just like Houston does. And I don't know if he'd sign off on Carolina, but if he were to be willing to do that, I would certainly consider that if I'm the Houston Texans, because Christian McCaffrey is a part of that deal.
You know, the thing is, the Panthers were, it's been reported, and people have speculated, what would it take for Carolina to trade up to grab Miami's number 3 pick, right? They would do the 2nd rounder, next year's 1st rounder, because then they could grab a quarterback, Zach Wilson or whomever, that they really like. So that draft capital, because they have the 8th pick, which is good, but obviously not as good as the 3rd, that draft capital would be spent just to get their quarterback, who knows if he'll ever be half as good as Deshaun Watson. But Miami is sitting there with a 3rd overall pick already. And the thing about the no trade that you bring up, Stephen A., is usually if you're Deshaun Watson, you're like, I don't want to go to that team. They stink. That's why they're drafting 3rd overall. But the Dolphins are kind of loaded. The Dolphins are a really good team. They have the 3rd pick because of a trade. So they're unlike the Jets. They're not a moribund franchise, as you would say, right? They're a strong, rising franchise in a warm weather state, right? You bring up the fact
with no state
in a league without African-American coaches and GMs, just keep ticking it off with no state income tax. Why would he not say, yeah, with a no trade clause, yeah, I want to be traded there? And the fact that they got the number 3 pick and the QB, who'd probably be the 2nd one taken, and more draft capital, it just seems to me like what really the Texans have to do is find out, do the Dolphins want to trade for Deshaun Watson? Because if they do, you got to say no to the Panthers. They can't offer you as much. And by the way, who knows if Deshaun would say yes?
Here's the biggest reason you should say no to the Panthers if you were going to say no. You should say no to the Panthers if you're Deshaun Watson. Maybe not the Houston Texans, but definitely if you're Deshaun Watson. Here's why. Because I want to go and play with Christian McCaffrey. I don't want to arrive there at the expense of him leaving. That's really the biggest problem. You want Christian McCaffrey there with you, and that's not going to work. So, again, I'm not disagreeing. I think that the Jets and the Miami Dolphins are in a much better position to offer a better deal than the Carolina Panthers. I'm just saying we're not hearing that definitively that they're going to make those offers, particularly if you're the Miami Dolphins. And if that's not what the situation is, then I got to leave my options open if I'm the Texans. And 3 first-round picks plus Christian McCaffrey is not a bad deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you're looking at it from the Texans' perspective, Christian McCaffrey is one of only 3 players to record 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards in the same season. Also a really likable guy, maybe someone that Houston can get behind now that they lost Watt. Also maybe great. Watson. And also, guys, great. Olivia Culpo is his girlfriend, all right? To me, that's a win. You get her in the stands during games. All right, we're going to leave it there. We got a lot more to get to right here. After the Texans released star defensive end J.J. Watt last week, league sources telling ESPN's Ed Werder that approximately a dozen teams have reached out with interest, including the Cleveland Browns and also the Tennessee Titans. However, Watt's priority in determining his next team is reportedly the belief that he'll have the opportunity to play in a Super Bowl. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think he deserves that. So, Stephen A., which team do you think gives J.J. Watt the better opportunity at going to the Super Bowl? Is it the Browns or is it the Titans?
Well, I would say the Titans, but let me say this because, I mean, Derrick Henry running the football and, Ryan Tannehill still being there, and he's been a really good quarterback for the Titans. That defense is real, but you add J.J. Watt to the mix and his ability to get to the quarterbacks, that's going to help you defensively, and it's going to help give you more offensive possessions, which means you'll give Derrick Henry more opportunities to run the football. But let me also say this, Max. If J.J. Watt were to go to the Cleveland Browns, it is an act of betrayal to his family, to TJ and Derek. It would be betrayal.
Here we go.
Okay?
Here we go.
You can't go to the Cleveland Browns. Now, you want to go to Tampa?
This is pathetic.
You want to go to Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers? Fine. But to go to the Cleveland Browns when you have an opportunity to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, it would be blasphemous, it would be sacrilegious, and an absolute act of betrayal, the likes of which Mama Watt should get involved and chastise her son. That's right, I said it. It would mess up Thanksgivings. It would mess up Christmases. It would mess up all of that stuff. For family obligation alone, you can't go to the Cleveland Browns when 2 of your brothers are on Pittsburgh, the same division with a team that can compete for the Super Bowl, that wants you, has a spot for you, and not only do you choose not to join your brothers, you would go against them by wearing a Cleveland Browns uniform. You would rather be playing off of Lake Erie instead of Three Rivers, Heinz Field. Are you kidding me? It would be an act of betrayal. And J.J. Watt, somebody needs to tell him that. So damn it, I'm doing it.
Stephen A., one thing about you is I'm really disappointed right now because you're a good dude. And this is the first time on this show. It's like you're a bad person for this. How could you do this? You are putting your own interests as a Steelers fan, ahead of J.J. Watt, who is one of the greatest players of all time.
I'm thinking about the Watt family.
A pillar in the community.
I'm a family man. I'm a family man. I'm thinking about the Watt family.
He does great works on and off the field, and this man deserves to try to win a Super Bowl.
I love J.J. Watt.
Would rather serve your own selfish interests here. Stephen A., you'd rather serve your own selfish interests. Put him on a team that does not have a quarterback capable of winning a Super Bowl right now, and you know it. Shame on you. Now,
Baker Mayfield is capable of winning a Super Bowl quicker than Ben Roethlisberger?
It's possible. Yeah, quicker than Ben Roethlisberger right now? Yes, quicker than Ben Roethlisberger. Here's the thing. I'll stick to the question Browns or Titans, okay? Vrabel's done a great job. No doubt about it. Titans are a good team. The thing about Stefanski is, You know when the last time Minnesota was sub 500? That was 2014. I mean, Stefanski's been on that staff forever, right? Doing different jobs on the offense. But 2014 is the last time they were sub 500. Stefanski leaves just like that. They're below 500. The Browns. Last time the Browns were above 500 was 2007. Stefanski shows up just like that. They're above 500. Stefanski's difference, the kind of difference he's made for that team and that offense, has been remarkable. And then you look at the pieces and the talent they have, Stephen A. I mean, even if Odell doesn't stay on the team, they're going to get value for him in a trade. But they have a whole lot of, and their run defense was excellent, right? And they have high-end performers on defense. They could use another defensive piece. And even though J.J. Watt's not J.J. Watt anymore, he's like J. Watt. You got to take at least one J off compared to the way he was in his prime. But J. Watt is still better than a lot of guys. That dude still has value, and he would be a real addition to that Browns defense.
I'm a family man. I'm just looking out for the Watt family. I'm trying to keep the peace and keep it together. That's really what the intent is.
Anybody.
He's great. He would be great with
But
his
Stephen
brothers
A.
in the Steel City. That's all I'm saying.
Stephen A., you're a good person, but you're wrong for this.
On the other hand, though, there is the guarantee of having several divisional games a year against each other, so could be maybe a good chance for a family reunion once or twice.
It's not good for the family.
You could see it both ways, two sides of this coin.
family.
All right, guys, let's move on. We have a big special guest coming up.